Gentlemen, welcome. Please find a seat and relax. We have a lot to discuss. Welcome one and all. I am KC.
I'm DC.
And we are two goddamn gentlemen. Head over to twogoddamngentlemen.com for links to our Twitter, links to our voicemail, and for a link to our Patreon, which gets you into our live Discord server during the podcast. This is a show we bring to you each and every week, giving you the do's and don'ts of becoming the finest of all the male species. DC, what is everyone in store for this time around?
Today we're going to be talking about two new gentlemen. If you are brand new to the podcast, it's not too late. In fact, this is probably the best episode to say go back and listen because there's only one. This is episode 2. Go back to episode 1. I nominated this schmuck named Kevin. Casey nominated this schmuck named Dan. And basically just gave them the what for all the non-gentlemanly qualities that they possessed in their life. We put it out to the voting, to you guys to decide, gentlemen or not, and basically everybody loves us. Kevin and Dan, whoever those guys are. And there's no need to discuss it any further. We are goddamn gentlemen. It's confirmed. We'll be bringing in our own main gentleman of the week this week and discussing their do's and don'ts. And then, again, we'll put it up to you guys, and kind of like Reddit, we'll give it a congregate upvote, downvote. Whoever gets the most upvotes is ultimate gentleman, and we'll see at the end of all this, KC, who on earth is the ultimate gentleman. I've got my own guy. I'm gonna sit on it. I teased it last week. It's Russell Greer. I'm not gonna give any information out because I'm so excited about all the research I did in the last week on this guy. This guy is the biggest piece of work on earth, so I'm gonna be bringing him in. But for now, I'm gonna bring in my honorary gentleman of the week. It's somebody who I think is going to be forgotten ultimately in history. 100 years ago, you would be getting through high school, probably, some kind of small community teaching environment where you maybe had 10 kids in your class, just in your neighborhood, real old American society. And you would have this feeling of duty to join the military, right? The armed forces, do your job, do your duty to your country. And you may be 17 years old, going to sign your life away to go fight whoever it is that we're fighting to keep our freedoms alive. It's a rite of passage almost for men back in those days. And my honorary gentleman this week is one who exhibits all those brave qualities, and that is Kyle Rittenhouse. So if you haven't been following the news, Kyle Rittenhouse is a true-born American hero from Northwest Illinois. I don't know my geography, but I'm pretty sure that's the northwest corner that is on Wisconsin side. He heard about all this, uprising going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and his place of work was this auto dealership, I think. I don't know what he did for them, sales or maybe, parts or service or something. But anyway, his boss calls him. Likely one of the three. Boss calls him up on the phone and is like, hey, dude, we got trouble coming our way. If you could come help us out and guard the place, that'd be great. He's like, I got it. He grabs his AK or his AR-15, whatever he happened to have with him. Drives across the border and protects his place of business. I mean, if they light it on fire or if they tear it down or if they bash the windows, whatever, any kind of closure or damage that they do to this business directly affects him as an employee. So that's kind of his mindset. Oh shit, yeah, okay, my boss needs my help. If they burn this place down, I don't have a job anymore. It's kind of incumbent on me to go and do that, right? So he goes, and he's a 17-year-old dude. Do you remember being 17? How you were just begging for some shit to happen, to go down where you could be the hero and just fucking, jump in on a fight or something like that going on between your buddies. That was just the fucking testosterone, end of puberty shit that was going on in guys' lives. And this kid had a case of it, goes to defend his work with his gun, and puts himself in a self-defense situation. And I think shoots some guy in the back or something like that. I don't know. It always seems to be in the back. Otherwise, true American hero. If it wasn't shot in the back, he might not just be honorary, but because of that, only honorary for Kyle Rittenhouse. This one's to you.
Yeah, that's a beautiful start to our non-us part of the podcast. I had an honorary one that I think I'm going to save for a future episode down the line, because I discovered that someone from way back in the day is not only still kicking around, but it's just become a complete more of an embarrassment. Was going to be an honorary gentleman, but we'll revisit Tom Arnold down the line.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know he was. I knew he was still alive, but when you say kicking around, you mean like he's active, like he's doing stuff?
He is. He's retweeting the Lincoln Project a lot. If that clues you in at all as to where he is as a person, he's on. He's
had it. He's had it.
Yes, he is. He is knighting. He is white knighting all over the place. So we're gonna have to talk about Tom Arnold, but we'll save him because he's a piece of work. You want to go first, or you want to sit on Russell Greer? Now, you in our prep the other night, you kind of gave me like the 3-second kind of overview, and this guy seems like a piece of work. So we should probably save him for after mine, because mine's a little more personal, a nomination, I think.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. You do the honors. The inaugural Gentleman of the Week by KC. Somebody on the Giants, I'm sure. Go ahead.
It is not someone on the Giants. In fact, it is one of the members of the ownership family of the New York Metropolitans.
Oh, well, you know.
It is the COO of the New York Mets.
There he is.
Jeff Wilpon.
There he is. Dude, he looks like an owner's son, not like an owner. You know what I mean?
He is the owner's son.
I know. That's why it's so funny. It's like, dude, it's so obvious who you are. Anyone introduced to this guy would be like, oh, hey, cool. Nice to meet you, Eric. Is your father also an owner by chance? Oh, he was. Okay. Of your organization? Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up.
He does look more like an Eric now that I look at it.
Was it Aaron Wilpon?
So why Jeff Wilpon, you may ask yourselves. Jeff Wilpon has been the COO of the Mets since 2002. His father, Fred, a gentleman in his own right, has owned the team as the majority owner since then. And Jeff has built up quite the resume. Now, some of these things I really, really enjoy. Some of them I beyond enjoy. And a lot of the baseball stuff just makes me mad. So we're going to have a couple baseball examples as we go through here, DC.
Okay.
But not all baseball examples. There's going to be some front office stuff. And really, you guys are going to understand when I'm done why this is a true gentleman. So, DC, after joining the Met staff in 2002, he didn't really do any public interviews until 2004. Now, if you were wondering how those first 2 years went for him, here he is talking in 2004, saying, "We realize this is a public trust, and we realize that the public is upset. I do want them happy." Things were not off to a good start. Now, why were things off to a bad start, you may ask yourself. Things were off to a bad start because Jeff Wilpon could not get his hands out of any pie in the building.
Well, that's good. I mean, isn't that the saying, like, you want as many hands in the pot as possible? As many you can't have too many chefs in a kitchen, I think is the saying, right?
Something a quarterback room needs at least 5.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, at least. Dude, if you don't have 5, I mean, what are you even doing? So,
Jeff is very involved, as a gentleman always is, and that'll be the main theme as we move forward. So, DC, he had another quote from 2004. He said, "We were saddled with some big contracts. Let them run out and judge us. Give us a 5-year period to prove what we can do." And you can say, we are 2 years into those 5 years right now. So that was a good point. He wanted 3 more years to prove their worth. And seeing as that was 15 years ago, I think that he deserves a little more time. Honestly.
A gentleman deserves as much time as he needs.
Ample. He needs ample time. So, this is one of my favorite ones. This is going to be my ultimate baseball example. We're gonna keep this tight, DC. As tight as I possibly can.
Okay.
There was a time in 2004, the Mets were 4 games under 500 at 49-53.
Okay.
Now, do you remember a pitcher named Scott Kazmir? He ended up with Tampa Bay. He was a pretty good starter for quite a while in the league. So the Mets had him as a prospect, and he was down in like the junior leagues and then eventually up to Double-A. And he was leading the league in strikeouts everywhere he went. Very good youthful pitcher, obviously, right? Went on to be a really good MLB pitcher. Makes sense.
Right.
Now the Mets at 4 games under 500 decide, as good as this young pitcher is, now I could say the GM, but we'll get to there is no GM. There's always a rotating door of sometimes 1, sometimes 2, maybe even 3 GMs at a time. But none of them are. Yes, 3 GMs is exactly. You were saying you can't get enough cooks in the kitchen. 3 GMs, DC. We'll get to that.
That's an undefeated season right there. 3.
162-0.
That's right.
So the Mets decide, Jeff Wilpon, the gentleman, decides, I believe what we should do is go for it. I think we're close this year. Let's move some of our younger pieces or maybe even a Scott Kazmir out of the system and bring some guys back.
Oh, they must have gotten somebody good. I mean, you'd think. That's a high value trade.
All right,
commodity right there.
You tell me. There's going to be a bunch of names here, but we'll go through them quick. Mets traded catcher Justin Huber to the Royals in exchange for Jose Bautista. Good player.
Good player. Bad punch taker.
That's right. That's right. Now, Bautista wasn't that good a player then, so the Mets flipping him an hour later is fine. So the Mets flipped Bautista in addition to Ty Wigginton and Matt Peterson to the Pirates to get back Chris Benson and Jeff Cappinger. Now, so far, if you're a Mets fan, 4 games under 500, you're going, who gives a shit about any of these moves? We're not going to make anything happen out of this.
No.
And then you hear Scott Kazmir may be in a deal. It's like, all right, what are we getting back?
Yes.
What are we getting back? This is our number 1 prospect. So they bring back who was a promising right-handed pitcher named Victor Zambrano from Tampa Bay. Now, if you don't remember Victor Zambrano, DC,
I don't.
Might be because right around that time, his career kind of came to a halt with a debilitating elbow injury. Would you like to play a game? You want to play a game?
Sure, I love games, yeah.
All right, multiple choice. The Mets traded for a pitcher with a elbow injury that was going to keep him out of the rest of that season and pretty much never pitch a significant inning for the team because, A, he hid the injury from Tampa Bay. B, Tampa Bay hid the injury from the Mets.
Ooh.
Or C, in a deal involving their number 1 prospect, Jeff Wilpon and the Mets did not ask for a physical or any medical information on the players.
I mean, 3 is too absurd. Nobody's that stupid. 2, I like to think that an organization has enough smarts with their general counsel not to, if they asked for medical records and they gave them like faulty ones, like, yeah, he's healthy. He's totally, everything's fine, but they just fudged the date on the physical. It's like actually from 2 years before that. I'd like to think that they're not that stupid, but a single person, especially a player who is facing maybe the end of a career, he'd have the motive not to tell his current team what's going on with him, and then boom, surprise, it's too late. Guaranteed money. This is what I'm dealing with. I think he probably hit it.
It was us.
I go with A.
It was C. It was C, actually. The Mets didn't. The Mets didn't ask for any medical information.
Isn't that just like? I mean, okay. Everybody's worked in some sort of company structure where they have things that they've done so many times. Let's say hiring somebody or firing somebody or, whatever your industry may be. You do something enough times, there's a system to it where it's just, okay, a checklist. Do this, do this, do this, do this, and the process is done. You didn't fuck up. There you go.
Makes sense.
mitigate your damages from stupid employees. Now, you would think asking about the player's health that you are going to be receiving in an athletic stakes game, I would think that would be higher up on the priorities list of just automatics in like the checklist. Yeah, there he is. It's no wonder I thought his name was Eric. Look at that guy. He looks like his name is Eric. He looks...
He's not asking for medical records, man. He doesn't care. It's all good.
I remember he played good. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, we need that guy. We need that guy. Yeah. What are we in, year 4? Oh, no. Oh, no.
After that deal went down, actually, he was not pleased.
Oh, man. That's
right,
something else. For those of you who are just listening to the podcast, okay, Casey just flashed a picture of this Jeff gentleman looking like somebody had like fish hooked his cheek and like just pulled it, like it was that kind of disappointment, like but that's the only part of his face that's got any movement to it. Everywhere else is just rigid and stupid. His tie is fucked. Everything about him, I just.
So this one, DC, this one is fucked.
Okay.
Pedro Martinez.
Yeah.
Pitched for the Mets in 2005, a year after
huge
he
deal.
Was a member of the Red Sox.
Yep.
Hurt his toe, so the manager Willie Randolph's like, "Listen, Pedro, you're done for the year. We're not in the chase." It's not surprising, I know, but they're not.
Like, yeah, man. Why do you think I hurt my toe? You think my toe is hurt? My toe is not hurt.
Well, that's good because, as you can see, Jeff Wilpon decides that Dontrelle Willis, who if he was a big name back in those days, young pitcher with a cool leg kick for Tampa, or Miami, excuse me. He was coming in to pitch, and Jeff Wilpon, the gentleman that he is, always sees an opportunity, DC. And what he saw in this opportunity is Pedro versus Dontrelle Willis. We're going to sell some tickets, make some money. Perfect plan. Well, Jeff, Pedro's hurt. Don't give a fuck. And I quote, "While I'm the boss here, you are going to do what I say," Wilpon said, according to Martinez, who gave in and pitched. He lost the game, which drew 25,000 fans. Said the injury prolonged the problem. Other parts of his body broke down the next season, and he was inactive for the Mets' Game 7 run of the 2006 National Championship Series, in a game in which Carlos Beltran, in Game 7, checked his swing, and they were eliminated. This is a Pedro quote. "I couldn't help but think about how I was healthy in 2005, and our team wasn't that good. But as my health declined, I was urged to pitch a meaningless game, and at the end of 2005, wound up shortening my recovery for 2006, and led me to the hospital where doctors performed a 3-hour arthroscopic procedure to repair my shoulder." DC.
Hold on. His shoulder, that's a long way from his toe. Are you telling me that his toe injury shot to his shoulder? That seems like maybe not Eric's fault.
Eric.
I'm calling him Eric from now on.
I know. I love it, dude.
Yeah.
That's perfect. He looks like an Eric.
He does. That's him from now on.
This next point, well, first off, just for the record, I do side with Jeff there. It's why it's part of my nominations. And the reason being, he's trying to form championship baseball teams, and Pedro didn't know shit about that in 2005.
Yeah, that's true. He had no experience in that. Like, not even immediate experience from the season before. Definitely didn't have any of that.
The most recent game that was won by any of the 30 teams, he wasn't on it for a championship.
Yep, no.
Didn't happen.
If he had had that, or anything close to that, then maybe I would see why you would defer to his, knowledge. But
yeah, and if he had been like a pitcher that had been around for like 10 years and had like 4 straight Cy Young level seasons, like maybe you listen to them in that situation. But Pedro's not that guy.
Not that guy. Not yet. So he could become that guy, but he was not yet.
Not without guidance from guys like Jeff. Right. DC, this next one, I really just put it in here because I think it's funny. And if his name's Eric and he looks how he should, then this is how he should be acting. 100%. These are the things that he should be up to. From the Record Online in 2008, Jeff, who along with one of the sons of Public Relations heavyweight George Steinbrenner's official mouthpiece, Howard Rubenstein, established an 18-member breakfast club for junior moguls in the late 1990s, nicknamed the SOBs, or Sons of Bosses, which included such notables as a bunch of fucking guys nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah. That's exactly what an Eric, son of a boss, would be doing.
So,
Dude,
at least he's
what
not a
boomer
douchebag.
thing to do. At least he's not a huge douchebag.
Yes.
Who hangs out with the likes of Rudins, Rubensteins, and Tishes. Jesus Christ.
Leave the Tishes out of this, speaking of Giants ownership. So these next ones are, I enjoy these. Oh, let's just get that in there first.
God damn. Is that his dad?
I don't know. Maybe.
Is that Fred?
It might be Fred.
Holy shit. He's well on his way to becoming Fred. His face is just about to drop in all the places. Holy shit.
So then it came to time to fire Willie Randolph. Now, they had won like 97 games the year before, but Jeff was convinced that was in spite of the manager, so no big deal. So after winning a game in California, they fired Willie Randolph in his hotel room. They flew out to California in June with him and fired him after a victory and leaked it to the press at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Dude, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. What's he going to come back to you and sue you for wrongful termination for?
Yeah, that's right, because you won the game.
Yeah, he won the game. Like, no, it wasn't anything like that. We just decided to do it. It totally works out.
So this one, firing them after having them fly to the West Coast for a game against the Angels, Mets won, clearly shows they made the decision days ago. GM Omar Minaya, who was the one who executed the firing, but make no mistake, he was just the messenger. COO Jeff Wilpon and Vice President Tony Bersnard, or whatever, were the ones who really wanted Randolph fired and wanted him fired for a long time. So they did fly him.
What
out
a
there.
bunch of chicken shits.
Oh, yeah.
And they just said, hey, you go fire him. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Yep. Here's a
What a
quote
mess.
from the great Peter Gammons, who I think we all respect as a baseball mind. He was on with Michael Kay and confirms all of these thoughts. They're talking about replacing some of the coaches they had just fired, and they were. Kay asked Gammons about one specific coach, and Gammons said, "Well, Omar, the GM, likes him, but he's not the GM. Jeff is." So that was, and thank God, says I. The
Yes.
Mets fan.
Yes. A gentleman always assumes positions that he has no business having.
This is my favorite quote of all the research I did, DC, about Jeff Wilpon. This is my favorite one. It's from Joel Sherman in 2010. Let's say he's not short-tempered, tone-deaf, a credit seeker, an accountability deflector, a micromanager, a second-guesser, a less-than-deep thinker, my favorite one,
That's great. Less than
And-
deep.
and bad at self-awareness. Fine, he's none of those things, but here's the problem. That is the perception in the industry as the Mets try yet again to fix their baseball operations department.
Ooh.
A less than
That's
deep
perfect.
thinker.
Let's say he's not those things. That's the perception of him. That's what everyone thinks of this guy. Oh, Lord. That's just ugly.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Well, thank goodness he's not the owner anymore.
Oh, it's just the worst. So, DC,
Yeah.
let's talk about another gentleman. Bernie Madoff.
Oh, that's right.
We hadn't gotten there yet.
The poor Wilpons, right? Got duped out of millions and billions of dollars.
Yeah. So the Wilpons were perhaps more than slightly involved in the Madoff Ponzi scheme. They did not make off well following it, losing hundreds of millions of dollars, which everyone thought they were going to have to sell the team, but thank God they did not. They sold. They sold.
Oh man, thank God. It was a close one.
They sold off some shares of the team. They cut salary incredibly for the next few years. And the team
They made some bad trades.
Here was the impressive part. The team was not much better or worse than they were before. They just stayed bad. So consistent either way. Now, they lost hundreds of millions of dollars. It's bad. There were probably big victims in this. From the New York Times. There were hundreds of victims of the Madoff Ponzi scheme, but Saul Katz is not one of them. Neither is Fred Wilpon.
That's funny.
The Wilpons were described to willfully turn a blind eye to every objective indication of fraud before them.
Yeah, but they kind of have proven themselves idiots, right? I mean, like, even if the guy was doing it right in front of his face, they probably would not have known anything. They're retarded.
I want to give a quick shout out to Johan Santana, former pitcher, who did require shoulder surgery because he got in an argument with Jeff Wilpon and threw a baseball like 400 feet and threw his arm out. So,
damn,
it'll happen.
400 feet?
Yeah, that's like a knee injury.
Well, yeah, like 100 feet. Not like 400 feet, though.
It's not nice. 2014, hitting coach Dave Hodgins is fired. And they couldn't figure out how to fire him. And then it was followed by weeks of reports of, no, this was Jeff that wanted him fired, not the GM. So a gentleman always learns from his mistakes. So they learned from the Willie Randolph thing years before, cleaned all that up. No more miscommunications like that. Everything is back to where it should be.
So how they do it? Did they do like a clown, like a singogram? Like they just sent him to his house like, you're fired, honk, honk.
You don't have to go on the road trip.
Or any of the road trips, and please don't contact us anymore.
Clean out your locker.
Yeah. We already did it for you. We're gonna FedEx it to your house. Goodbye.
All right, so this is where he hits his stride, DC. Why don't you read this headline for me?
I will. Being pregnant and single got me fired by the Mets, says ex-executive. What are you doing? What are you doing being an executive and getting pregnant, you idiot? Don't you understand like what that means? It kind of takes you out of life.
Be responsible. God. DC, if
Flush
you would.
It out.
I want your thoughts on this. So if you would, please read this to the listeners.
The Mets are rarely newsworthy in September. That's a good start. That's a great start. As they have a habit of being long since out of the playoff. Okay, yeah, you ruined your joke. You don't need to explain the joke, Des. However, a lawsuit filed against the team's chief operating officer is making headlines, as usual, for all the wrong reasons for New York's junior baseball squad. Ooh.
It's
ouch.
Just brutal.
Ouch, man. Lee Castergene, who had been in charge of Mets ticket sales, claims... Okay, in charge of ticket sales. She's an exec. That's a stretch. In a suit filed Tuesday, that she was humiliated and ultimately fired in August by Jeff Wilpon for having a child out of wedlock. In addition to being the Mets' COO, Wilpon is the son of the team's principal owner, Fred Wilpon. Some of the specifics are here as follows.
All right, so here you go, DC. I'll give you some of the bullet points as to what happened between Jeff and Lee. Wilpon told another Mets employee that he is, quote, old-fashioned and thinks that she should be married before having the baby.
Okay.
It's fine.
That's an opinion.
That is an opinion.
That's fine. Yeah.
No big deal. Now, this article refers to this once. In other articles, they refer to this happening in many meetings. Wilpon would lean over to Lee in a meeting and check if she had a wedding ring yet.
Okay. So, yeah, just looking out for her well-being. She will be happier in life. Studies have proven it. If women are happier being married and raising families. Not every woman, I'm just saying, statistically speaking, she probably was on the majority side of happiness in that situation. Had she had a ring on and he was just looking out for the well-being of his employee, as a gentleman always would. I think you can agree. I
would definitely agree with that. Now, here's a gentlemanly move, and I mean this.
Mm-hmm.
At another meeting, Wilpon said there were 2 rules regarding her pregnancy. Don't touch her belly or ask how she's doing. She's not sick. She's pregnant. Good point. That's the best move Jeff's made.
That's a terrible point. She's not sick. She's pregnant. Dude, that's completely counterintuitive. Being pregnant is perpetually being sick. It's like It's I mean that's just it is what it is. But anyway, what else did he do? What else did he do?
This one I need you to explain to me. I didn't get this one. In a conversation about her bonus, Wilpon told her that she should tell her boyfriend to give her a ring so she can make more money.
Yeah. Taxes, homie. You get married and you don't have to file separately anymore. You file jointly, you get a better tax rate, and also you qualify for way more rebates and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely. He was looking out for her best interest once again, like a gentleman.
I'm an adult and I know these things. All right, DC, here's my favorite one. At a meeting,
they don't tell men. They don't tell men about those things. Men find out about that after marriage.
Okay.
You shouldn't know about the benefits of marriage because tax money coming back or going or whatever will never make up for the amount of money you're spending on furniture that you don't need after you get married. So don't worry about that.
Decades from now, when I reach my 40s, we'll find out. At a meeting involving several senior executives during a discussion about whether or not to adopt an advertising for an e-cigarette company, Wilpon said, quote, "I am morally opposed to putting an e-cigarette company sign in my ballpark as I am to Lee having this baby out of wedlock, or without being married."
That took a hard left. I thought he was going to say, like, I am opposed to having an ad for an e-cigarette when we have a pregnant COO.
No.
Or whatever she was, chief of ticket sales.
You thought he was going to be protecting the pregnant woman from the cigarettes.
Yes.
In fact, he was saying she is as bad as them.
And they're both fine.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so funny. Gentlemen always. I love it.
That's right.
I'm on your side with this one. He's getting my upvote. I'll tell you that.
Couple more quick ones. David Wright was hurt for the last couple years of his career.
The only last like 15 years of his career.
That's right.
He was injured.
So he wanted to come back, play a game, and it was fought tooth and nail by Jeff Wilpon. Why, DC? Insurance money.
Well,
that's what you want out of your team's owner. Fans' best interest. Don't let David out there because insurance money.
Yeah. Well,
that's what you want. Let's see. I mentioned this one before. This is some of my favorite shit. This is in the last 3 years, DC.
Okay.
Omar Minaya was fired as the general manager. He went...
Another one.
Yeah. He went and did some scouting. And there was a group of 2 guys, names don't matter, that were now going to kind of be the joint GM, but really they were kind of a brain trust that were going to just come up with ideas and then go to Jeff. Jeff will make the decision.
Okay.
So they weren't doing a great job. Jeff didn't love that. So he said, you know what we should do? We should hire Omar Minaya to be the 3rd guy in that group. So he hired his other GM, the old GM that he just fired back, but now he was one of 3 guys. And that went really well, but they all got fired like within a year.
Okay.
So, I mean, I know that you've had a rough week. Your Colorado Avalanche got eliminated from the playoffs. Was it because you had 3 GMs and 6 head coaches?
No, it wasn't. It was because all of our defense got hurt, and we were on our 3rd string goalie because the first 2 got hurt. So it's amazing that we took it to a 7th game and got it to overtime. But when you're letting in an average of 4-point-something goals a game, taking it to a game 7 is, I think we set the 2nd highest series in goals record for a playoff series. That's that many goals.
Sense. That series was crazy. So it wasn't the 4 GMs that caused the loss?
And the 4 GMs. And the 4 GMs.
It was the 4 GMs.
It was the 4 GMs.
That's not recommended. So here's, now you're saying to yourself, all right, listen, you've pulled stuff from 2004, 5, 8, 10, 12, right? This guy's still part of the Mets. Like, I bet he's made better decisions recently. So, like, in the last 2 years, they hired GM Brody Van Wagenen and manager Mickey Callaway together.
Van Wagenen, that's the Chinese guy, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, somebody else.
I don't think that's who that is. So, Mickey Callaway then gets fired a year later, but we're going to keep the Broadster. Brody's going to stay. Mm-hmm. You know who we're going to hire as the new manager of the Mets? Carlos Beltran.
Of course.
Carlos Beltran. And, in fact, no, we can't do that because he's now being suspended for cheating in Houston. So a week later, no Carlos Beltran. We're going to hire our AAA manager, all of this going on, you think to yourself, there's no end in sight for a Mets fan. They're stuck in this world forever. And then in January of 2020, here comes billionaire, former hedge fund principal or director, whatever you call those positions, Steve Cohen.
Ooh, there you go.
And Steve Cohen, who has been a minority owner of the team ever since the Madoff incident when Fred had to start selling off some pieces. And Cohen reportedly wanted to buy almost 49% of the team back then.
Okay.
Now, here is the ultimate gentlemanly move. And when I thought to myself, who's my gentleman this week? Now, I've always wanted to nominate Jeff Wilpon for this, not knowing that this show would exist.
You're right. Don't we all? This is the best part. We just get to bring in. I'm going to bring in as honorary gentlemen people that just fucking piss me off on the road. Like, I know you're going to do that.
It's a shock I haven't done it in 2 episodes.
It is a shock. It is a shock. Yeah.
It really is. This was the kicker. This was the ultimate for me. DC. When Steve Cohen offered to buy the team, he backed out of the deal initially. He's back in now, months later. But he backed out for a few months. And the reason for the initial back out was because, as a part of the offer from the Wilpon family, Jeff would not only retain his role as COO for the next 5 years, having complete control of the organization, but his salary would increase by year.
Of course. Of course.
As it would have to
Hey,
be.
I can't. A gentleman always looks out for his pocketbook. And, you know, it's not his job to tell him no, asking for that kind of ludicrousy. It is it is the people across the table whose job it is to tell him, nah, fam. That's no good for us.
So the Mets are selling. Steve Cohen is going to buy the team, and I just wanted to point this out. Cohen, this was from an article from 2 weeks ago. Cohen needs 23 of 29 MLB owner votes to get approval, which is expected
I hope he
to
gets
come in
22.
November.
I hope he gets 22. And that last guy's just like trolling the Mets.
Yeah, it's everyone in their division.
It's like the Yankees. It comes down to the Yankees vote, and they're just like, oh, man. Could you do it? If you knew, like as the Yankees ownership, if you knew that it came down to your vote to get a favorable move for your crosstown rival, quote unquote, that really is not, deserving of anything.
You want the
you
Wilpons.
give them the vote?
No, you want the Wilpons in there
Exactly.
forever.
Exactly.
You want the Wilpons. But there were concerns, DC. There has been concerns regarding his ability, this is Steve Cohen, to get the green light from the other team owners around the league, considering his checkered history as a hedge fund billionaire. The 64-year-old has faced insider trading and sexual discrimination allegations. He also was forced to pay out $1.2 billion in a settlement with the feds after his former firm, SAC Capital, pled guilty to security fraud in 2013. So I look forward to 17 years from now nominating Mets owner Steve Cohen as Gentleman of the Week.
Well, that's just business. That's just, you can expect that.
Yeah, the last one. That's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and the rape thing. It's just business.
Sure.
So.
Well, there you go, DC. That is Jeff Wilpon.
That's great.
Actually, no, that's not Jeff Wilpon. That is Jeff Wilpon.
That's Jeff Wilpon. A gentleman always. Oh, man.
That's it for me. That's my gentleman nomination for the week.
All right, Casey. I want to paint you an ugly picture real quick.
Sure.
A child is born with a debilitating facial muscle disease where kind of like cleft lip. His upper lips are like up like this, and his bottom lip is like this. He just can't close his mouth. He can't make a smile. He can't emote with his eyes or anything. He can't even move his eyes left or right when he can't drive a car because when he goes to look somewhere else, he has to like turn his head and then like come back and then turn his head. It's rough, right? So this kid was dealt a bad hand. He was born in Evanston, Wyoming, which if you don't know Wyoming, I mean, who doesn't? So I know I'm preaching to the choir here with Wyoming geography, but Evanston is on the southwest corner of Wyoming that meets Utah. Like Utah hugs that corner right there. So a lot of Mormons in Evanston, being that close to Utah, and he was raised Mormon his whole life. Was an active believer all through high school, where he ran into a little bit of trouble Casey, why don't you show us the glory of Russell Greer?
Yeah. So I saw the first picture of this slideshow already, and there it is.
A gentleman always takes weird bathroom selfies with
Wait, it's a
antiquated.
selfie?
Yeah, dude. Of course, it's a selfie. Are you taking a man's picture that looks like that in a bathroom?
No.
No, that is a selfie if I've ever seen one. And
You could take, if I was in a bathroom with that guy, you could take a picture of the cartoon style hole in the wall that I left.
with the arm up, the running like and the leg weirdly out. So
Yeah, it's always to the side. What is the leg doing out to the side like that?
So you can see it's running, because really what it would look like is just a really long oval.
I understand, but
So this is Russell Greer in all his glory. Now, Russell in high school, as you can imagine, faced a lot of adversity with other kids teasing him, bullying, all that kind of shit. So
stuff to his left and right.
Drinks, liquids. He had a lot of enemies growing up. And
Stuff written on the ceiling.
stuff. Yeah. The letter M. So
Mouth guards.
Mouth guards. Nah, those are fine. Mouth guards are fine.
No, he went through them a lot.
Oh, yes.
It was wind damage because they never got closure in the front, and they were always exposed to the elements.
Yeah. So Russell would carry around a list with him in high school. Presumably he'd carry around with him, whatever. Maybe it was mental, but if somebody ever pissed him off or did him dirty or probably just said no to a date request, he would put this person's name on this list. And it was kind of well known that Russell had this list. So if you would for me, there was an incident where Russell Greer was arrested at Evanston High School. Here it is. Evanston High School on December 9th, 2009. The responding officer was Alexander C. It's not really important. Let's go to the next slide, if you would. Casey, top middle, could you describe for me the description of Russell Greer's offense that got him arrested?
Terrorism.
Right, like in the structure of American crimes that they look unfavorably on from top down, it's treason, then basically terrorism. I mean, there's you could murder somebody and maybe get away with it. Terrorism, they're not messing around. So let's find out exactly what happened here. The narrative. This officer was advised by redacted name, who is a student at Evanston High School, about a disturbing writing he observed in the men's restroom across from the main office. Redacted name then showed this officer.
They didn't redact it the same.
They didn't redact it, but just for those listening, I don't want to do the dude dirty. Who knows? I'll do my due diligence on this end. Showed the officer the writing, which was located on the farthest left stall as you enter the restroom and upon the wall tile to the stall. The writing stated, quote, "This is not a joke. On December 18th, I am bringing a gun and I will kill 8 people on my list. Beware." Beware is underlined. I just said it. Russell was known to have a list.
You did mention that. Yeah.
So although the scene was processed and no prints of evidentiary value were obtained, it didn't matter, because as soon as they started asking around, they figured it out real quick. This officer...
Underneath it was a hyphen that said Russell. That's how they figured it out.
There was a trail of drool that they saw right immediately underneath the writing that they followed to the awaiting Russell Greer behind a dumpster.
They tracked the footprints. They were like, oh, this person was alone. They have no friends. It was Russell. I guarantee it.
Oh, Jesus. This officer, teachers, and staff who have been alerted, and numerous papers of students have been obtained for handwriting. They were checking the handwriting. However, no close similarities of students' writings have been obtained. Video camera number 18 of the school security. Okay, let me stop there. 18 cameras in an Evanston high school. Do you really need that many? There's less than 18 kids at that school. What do you need?
They didn't capture it on the first 17 cameras.
That's fair. The first 17 cameras are in the women's bathroom, and the 18th is in the men's bathroom. That's why. You're right. I think you're right. Are currently being reviewed. Nothing further at this time. Okay, which is, I would imagine, pretty common at the first glance of the crime scene. Go ahead into the next page here. This is going to be my impromptu gentleman of the week. Supplement SRO Alexander wrote, Mr. Merle, Merle, that's the guy's first name, Merle Lester. Got that?
Merle Lester?
Merle Lester. The vice goddamn principal at this high school's name is Merle Lester. The man was hired and promoted multiple times in an education atmosphere with the name Merle Lester.
His parents are dicks.
Like, if your last name was File, are you going to name your firstborn Porter? No, because Porterfile is like even that is too close.
Purd.
Purd File. Purd A File. His name is Purd A File.
Purd Jesus. Augustus File. Purdophile.
So, Merle Lester, who is the assistant vice principal of Evanston High School, had the opportunity to review the school's video system as mentioned above. So the bathroom tapes. So Merle Lester is going over the bathroom tapes. Several students were noted to be in the restroom for over 3 minutes. Why is Merle Lester allowed to view the video of the... Anyway.
I mean, he was going to view it anyway, so...
However, one student named Russell Greer was observed going into the restroom and not coming out for approximately 7 minutes on the day in question. Mr. Lester then obtained some schoolwork that was completed by Russell Greer. After reviewing this writing, the officer, Merle Lester, Dave Bennett, thank God, that's a normal name, who is the principal, and Officer Chris Bracken, all agreed that the handwriting of the schoolwork was very similar to the writing that was photographed on the bathroom wall. Especially similar was the letter K. I love how they add that.
I know why.
Why his K's are so unique?
Yeah, when he scratches it with his front teeth into it, it just makes a weird on the kink. Like on the kink of the K, it just makes a weird...
Just a little like... Yeah.
Yeah, you just tell.
Right. Let's see, especially on the letter K. Where was that? Oh, and how Russell Greer made his lowercase b in the form of a 6. Beware. It's like 6-eware. What the hell's going on? Russell was then asked, I'm skipping that paragraph there, it's just boring shit of calling him into the office or whatever. Russell was then asked to come back to the office. Once there, Russell completed a statement of his rights waiver. Russell then agreed to complete a written confession. What a fucking idiot. Never talk to the cops, you moron. And then, and again confessed to what he had done. It should also be mentioned that during this time, Officer Bracken asked Russell what tool he used to make the writing. It's like,
he did scratch it in.
That's kind of how it sounds, unless, like, I don't know, you know cops. They're fucking robots, especially in their reports. I'm just guessing, like, the weapon they call, or the gun or whatever it is, they call the weapon. Like, anything it is the weapon. And anything that you would use to do something, I guess they call a tool. Because they are our tools. What tool he used to make the writing? Russell replied that he used a pencil. I would never in a million years have guessed pencil to write on a bathroom wall. Would you?
Well, he wanted to fix any mistakes, like hit backwards B.
No wonder it took him 7 minutes. He's like, he had to make like 20 passes just to make it a little bit legible. This being consistent with the material on the wall. Okay, so his story checked out of him tattling on himself. Now, Casey, if you would, next slide for me. Russell Greer was then taken into custody, transported and booked into Uintah County Jail after having a meeting with his mother. Oh, God. Dude, have you ever gotten in trouble in school? I would imagine you had, like, early on, but then you just learned to, like, skate by with as little attention as possible after middle school.
Yeah, that was mostly true, although I did have an expulsion hearing right at the end of senior year of high school.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm sure I know this story, but those new to the podcast don't. What happened there?
My brother was still in Scouts, my little brother, so I drove him over to the Scout meeting one night, and I brought with me in my pocket a pocket knife, right?
Yeah.
And I wore the same jeans to school the next day, and we went on a field trip. We were up at the Connecticut Expo Center, and I was like, oh, shit, I still have my pocket knife in my pocket. And I was like an idiot, like showing my friends, and one of the substitute teachers saw it, and I ended up in front of like the school board, like to get I had in-school suspension for a few days. It was nice. It was a good time.
That is nice. Yeah, that in-school suspension beats at home any day. For this reason, because you don't want to deal with your mother or your father, which he had to with the principal. And an affidavit of information was completed and returned to the Uintah County Attorney for prosecution. It was all, Jesus Christ, cops are so dumb sometimes. It was also be mentioned that Russell never gave a reason why he wrote this other than stating that he had a bad day. Okay, well, you're kind of the cop. Like, don't you shake people down in these situations? Like, what on earth drove you to do this? You have a list, let alone you're going to kill people, right? I'm going to murder 8 people you have a list of people more than 8 already? Like, how many people are on your goddamn list, and why do you have a list? What is going on?
Big list.
Close your mouth. His confession states that he had been teased, harassed, and bullied because of his disability. As just displayed by anyone who,
he must
who encounters this man.
He must be thrilled in 2020. The mask is the greatest thing ever to happen to Russell Greer.
Oh, he's Antifa all the way. Guaranteed. Russell further states that he actually tried twice to commit suicide by hanging himself. Russell further stated that one time he actually put a rope around his neck and tried to choke himself. So he tried one time to kill himself by hanging. If you didn't even put the rope around your neck, how is that an attempt at hanging yourself?
Thank you to the
he
chat.
Thought about it.
Autoerotic asphyxiation joke there.
Yeah. Which actually, if you die of autoerotic asphyxiation, they're not writing that shit in the newspaper. It's just natural causes. Like, the man died of natural causes. But no, I thought it was autoerotic asphyxiation. Yeah, but we're not putting that in there. His mama's going to read this. I'm not putting that in there. It's natural causes. The man was not breathing. That is as natural as it gets to die. You don't breathe, you die. Natural causes. Thank you. End of next story.
He died doing what he loved.
Himself. All right, now, my gentleman of the week impromptu. I know you're all dying to see what Merle Lester actually looks like. Does he look like a molester? Let's find out. Yeah. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. All right, so current assignment, you'll notice, is not vice principal. He's been promoted again. The man is principal now.
Hey.
Principal Merle Lester.
Oh, Merle.
Who graduated from Evanston High School. So he is the principal at the school that he graduated from. That is the saddest goddamn thing I've ever heard. That's the saddest goddamn thing I've ever heard. You know that he got made fun of in high school for the name Merle Lester. Obviously he did. He got made fun of in kindergarten for that name.
He got made fun of in the nursery by his parents. Look at you, Merle Lester.
Merle Lester. They high-five his parents every time they come in, but they never tell them why. Their parents just think they're really cool. But they're like, good one. You totally roasted your kid on that name.
By the way, you nailed that Jeff Wilpon looks like an Eric, and I'm just going to throw out there that Merle looks like a Keith.
Yeah, he does. like a Keith does. Oh, you nailed it. Oh, you nailed it. So this guy was started out as a Spanish teacher at a Wyoming high school. Then he was a Spanish teacher 2 years later at just a different high school, but still in Wyoming. So I wonder why it was only 2 years. Maybe a pay issue. Who knows? Because he was there for 7 years. Then he goes to be an assistant principal at Riverton for 4 years, then 5 years, and then 2012 to present. So the guy, he's probably good at his job. He probably is real good at being around kids. He seems very invested in doing a good job. And you know how I know he's Mormon? 1990 in his colleges and degrees here. It says associate's degree in animal science. That's broad. And agriculture business from Ricks College, Idaho. Now, if you're not familiar with the history of BYU, Idaho, they used to be Ricks College. So this dude is Mormon as hell.
Thank you for refreshing
Just like
that
Russell.
memory for me. It was a little dusty, but it was in there.
Just like Russell. All right. Now, KC, number 7, we're going to start getting into Russell's actually, you know what? Before 7, go back to Merle Lester.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it on this guy for a little while I tell you about Russell's jail experience from getting arrested. There you go.
Come to us.
Russell was arrested for this terrorism, and he got 60 or 90 jail. I want to say 90 days in jail, in county jail up in Wyoming. Soft time, as soft as it gets. In fact, while he was in jail, he wrote in a later book that we'll get back to. He wrote about how he was in jail and a music video came on the TV that just really touched him. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of county jails and music videos that might come on, I don't think Taylor Swift. Do you?
I don't know what I would think, but you're right. It wouldn't be Taylor Swift, yeah.
I would think like 80s rock or something. Like, yeah, put on some like old school music videos. It's just like some good rock music. Play it like 70s, 80s rock. Play it through all day. Get them through their day, whatever. Taylor Swift, I would think, would cause like fucking riots in a fucking jail, dude.
Yeah, nobody who wants to hear that in a jail. Yeah.
Well, Russell Greer did, because it changed his life. He fell in love with Taylor Swift, became obsessed, and then wrote how like his obsession was justified because when his sister came to visit him in jail, she gave him a quote that was like this motivational, like, don't give up, you can do it, Russell quote from the lyrics of a Taylor Swift song, and he knew it was meant to be. So from that day forward, Russell Greer dedicated his time and resources, and I'm talking like all his time and resources, to writing a shitty song for Taylor Swift, which you get to hear right now. It's called I Get You, Taylor Swift.
So he wrote this. Is he the singer? Is he performing this?
No. He can't close his mouth. So, I'll remind you, he can't close his mouth. He can't drink water. He is not singing this song. But he did send it out to a studio who he paid upwards of like $500 to $1,000 for them to produce this piece of shit song.
Oh, is it not good?
Dude, it's awful. He took all of Taylor Swift's like song titles and then put them as the lyrics of this song, thinking that she would see that as deep. Like, oh, those are my songs. Oh my god. It's monotone. It's like 3-chord, which I know most songs are 3-chord progressions, but this 3-chord progression is very elementary, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Does it get better? You want to leave it there?
It's the exact same the whole way through. That's good. You guys get, if you really want to, go to SoundCloud and search "I Get You" Taylor Swift. Enjoy. He sent this song to Taylor Swift with the intention, I think, up front of having her promote him. Like, you know how celebrities will say, like, oh my gosh, I got this cute gift in the mail, and it's someone knitted me a hat, and then they put on a hat and take a stupid selfie or something, right?
Sure.
So he was thinking that if he wrote her a song, that the same thing would happen. She'd say, oh, my fan, he wrote me this song. Listen, guys, everybody go to SoundCloud. He's brilliant. And also, I love him, and I want to marry him. Like, I think that's really what he thought was going to happen in this scenario. Nope.
Did it happen? No.
Her handlers and agents determined that, oh, this is a piece of music. We can't give it to Taylor Swift, even if she wanted it. Even if she was like, oh yeah, it's just a gift. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to, sing it and all that kind of stuff, and put the record label at risk of a lawsuit from any crazy person who just sends any artist a song. Like, artists are sued 24 hours a day for copyright shit all the time by crazy people. Why make a legit case out of one of these fucking crazy people? So they said, no, thank you. Taylor Swift cannot open any music. Just like Jackass. If you sent Jackass a video of you fucking yourself up, they're going to send you a letter back saying like, oh, hey, thanks for sending this, but we didn't even open it. We can't view it. And of course they did view it, and they're going to do your prank on the very next episode of the show. But for legal purposes, they say, we did not open this. We did not even pass it on, whatever. That happened to him. And he said, Taylor Swift, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you in small claims court for all the money and time and damages that you not accepting my song has done to me. And I'm going to sue you in Utah small claims court, by the way. I know you don't live in Utah or have a house here, but I'm a paralegal in Utah who can actually bring suit against anybody just for the price of my own time. Because he knows...
He's a paralegal?
Yeah, well, he graduated from BYU Business College as a paralegal and then immediately got fired from every paralegal job he ever had. The highest place he ever had was the Utah State government building as a paralegal for the state attorney's office or something like that. But he was an intern for 2 months, and then they booted him.
They couldn't get sick. It took 2 months of them getting tired of having him come in and just fill his cheeks with acorns the whole day. Like, yeah. They were like, it
was all the documents that he would hand over to them that were just like half soaked from the halfway down. They really hated that. So anyway, he filed suit against Taylor Swift in small claims court in Utah and got just fucked. I mean, the judge threw it right out for. Well, let's take a look. If you'll show us the next slide here, Salt Lake City, a Utah man sued. I don't know what's worse now that I've done this, a Florida man or a Utah man. I think you could get just as much good, crazy shit from Utah man as you can in Florida, and I'm going to try to prove that with as many honorary gentlemen.
You're both, my friend.
Yeah. A Utah man sued pop star Taylor Swift, claiming negligence on behalf of her agents after he wrote her a song. No, negligence would have been giving it to her. That would have been negligence. They would have been sued by Taylor Swift for negligence in that case. After he wrote her a song and it was ignored. So everything went right. Russell Greer presented his case in small claims court Thursday evening in Salt Lake City. Greer says he spent a lot of time and money to write a song for Swift, and her agents never passed it along to her. He was asking for $7,000 in damages, but Swift's local lawyer, Greg Scortis, wanted the case to be thrown out entirely. Yeah, no shit he did. And I can't help but notice, Casey, that this $7,000 in damages that he's suing for is just a tad less than what he threatened Taylor Swift and her lawyers and agents with in a letter that he tried to send out to her but failed because he can't He can't do anything right. But the internet got a hold of it, and because the internet got a hold of it, I got a hold of it. And this is the letter that Russell Greer wrote to Taylor Swift before suing her. In this letter that I'm sending to Taylor Swift herself and to her agents, notice of $50 million lawsuit. Demand for mediation.
That's less. That is. You're right. 7,000 is slightly less.
It's like 4 orders of magnitude less, but what, what a fucking idiot. Letters also being mailed to Miss Swift's listed houses. For 2017, bro, he says, Dear Miss Swift, as you may know, I have been suffering for almost a year from the damages you, your agents, and your family and your followers have inflicted on me. She doesn't know. After much debating and pondering and much much writing letters to your places of address to try working this out, I have decided to file a lawsuit against you in federal court. This isn't easy for me. I care about you. But I have suffered a lot and lost a lot.
To be fair to that, I do get that. Tonight wasn't easy for me. I care a lot about Jeff Wilpon.
Right. But tough love. Tough love, right? So this is Russell Greer, tough love on Taylor Swift. He's going to sue her for $50 million. And this is a notice that I'll be suing you for the following reasons of action, following causes of action that you, your family, and your agents and fans inflicted upon me. You ready for this? So this is a $50 million lawsuit on the following grounds and cases of causes of action. Negligence, negligent misrepresentation, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Again, she doesn't know any of this is going on, dude. Vicarious liability, violating agency law. Defamation, trade libel, intentional interference with prospective economic advantage. Negligent interference with prospective economic advantage. Unfair competition under business and professional code. Why? Why? That's oh my God. Breach of confidence. Public disclosure of private facts.
What?
Yeah.
What did Taylor Swift disclose about him?
Nothing.
Of course not.
Common law misappropriation of likeness. Misappropriation of likeness under civil code. She didn't use your likeness. They said absolutely the opposite. They said, no, we didn't even open this, dude. False light. It's like, yeah, false light. The law is stupid sometimes. Punitive damages, general damages, false advertising under business and professional code, slander, libel, fraud, constructive fraud, deceit, abuse of process, 4 counts of your set of unsolicited policies violating all sorts of different Disabilities Act of 1990.
How many are you up to? What the fuck?
We're at 28. 28, material representation, malice, assault and battery, my personal favorite, number 30, assault and battery. This is apparently what her fans have done. If you read his book, which we don't even have time to get into the book, but we'll talk about the book a little bit. He goes on to say why I sued Taylor Swift and gives a whole, it's great. It's great. Number 31, undue influence, inherently dangerous activity, invasion of privacy, misuse of publicity, suit inequity, unjust enrichment, negligent entrustment, and finally, number 38, violating the Federal Trade Commission Act of 1914. Taylor Swift. So you better just watch out. Not only do I have legal basis and legal standing and damages to bring these claims against you, I will be requesting a jury, as I believe the facts speak strongly, and also I look retarded. So I'm hoping to play on their heartstrings. But it doesn't have to be this way. Oh, here we go. The plot twist. I would like to mediate with you and avoid all of this, and to avoid bad publicity. I would like for you to mediate with me and do either of the following 3 things. You ready for this? Number 1. You can avoid this lawsuit. KC, there are 38 causes of action. Whatever she could do to mediate that many causes of action and damages inflicted upon this man has got to be something just astronomically.
Like, put him on your record label, like huge. Like
number 1, come to Salt Lake City and go on a date with me. That's number 1. Just go on a date with me and you can avoid this $50 million lawsuit. Number 2, produce my Holocaust movie.
This guy is like the least likable person I've ever heard in my life. Like, what is... does that have to do? What's his movie? What does it have to do with anything?
I hope that the title of the movie is called Holocaust Movie. I would go watch that. If it was just called Holocaust Movie, I'd be like, you got it. You got my $10, sir, and my dates. Number 3, find a way to do my music. So right off the bat, it's very clear that Russell Greer sent this with the intention of Taylor Swift doing his music, whatever that fucking means. Because what's she going to sing a song about herself with her own song titles in the lyrics? It makes absolutely no sense.
You mean?
Sing a terrible fucking song. Makes no goddamn sense. But in Russell's mind, that's what he's dealing with. So, Casey, if you would now go back to number 7. This is, yes, here we go. He presented his case, got shut out. Right off the bat, Skordas argued the small claims court in Salt Lake City had no jurisdiction over his client, and Judge Ed Havis agreed. The fact that you're in Salt Lake City, or that you do some conduct in Salt Lake City, does not give rise to jurisdiction over Miss Swift, Havis said. Next slide for me.
Sorry, taking a sip.
You're good. However, Judge Havis still allowed Greer to make his case. First, Greer claimed negligence on behalf of Swift's agents for not giving her the song he wrote, something he claims she has accepted from others before. Throughout the years, I saw her actually accept unsolicited material. That's why I made a big deal out of this, Greer said. With that in mind, Judge Havis dismissed the case. Get the fuck out, Greer. Greer disagrees with the ruling, obviously. Honestly, his ruling goes against all logic. Greer told Fox, all logic, Casey. All forms of logic, this ruling goes against.
If you twist any form of logic to its most non-basic form, it still can't apply here.
Still goes against it. Greer told Fox 13 that other fans have been showed respect by Swift in the past, and he expected the same treatment. I saw some girl write a letter to her, and she goes to her wedding, he said. I spent 2 years writing a decent song. Well, that's a stretch. We all heard it, Russell. It's not decent.
And don't admit it took 2 years. You didn't even make up any of the words.
Yeah. How did this take you 2 years, dude? Like, I don't know about Russell Greer, and I don't say this to come off more gentlemanly than I am. But I used to play the piano, and I would get bored of having to do the songs that were my required practice songs, right? Like just same as school. Like you don't want to read the assigned material. You'd rather read a book you're interested in. So I would go and try to play songs that I liked and stuff like that, just using my sense of music, right? And I would I have a good ear for it. So I would test out okay, it's this note. It's this note, it's this note, it's this note. And then I would play it that way. And when I wrote a song this one time, I wrote the music first, right? I did the chord progression or whatever, and then I wrote lyrics that fit the music, timing and style-wise. It was easier to write the lyrics that sounded good that way than to try to match music. Writing music is so hard. Why would you ever handicap yourself with taking lyrics first and then writing music to it? Clearly that's what he did. He just took the lyrics of okay, yeah, this, oh yeah, teardrops on my guitar, great. Because it's so shoehorned into the original structure with the piano riff or whatever you want to call it at the very beginning. Obviously, I'm not a very technical songwriter, but from the opening chord progressions, he shoehorns it in. It was fucking terrible. It's not decent at all. So I spend 2 years writing a decent song about her, and I get treated like a criminal. You weren't treated like a criminal because of the song you wrote for her that she didn't play. It was your
criminal activity, actually.
It was your criminal past. It was your criminal activity of stalking her family. After you got those things returned to you, you then went and tried to follow all of her family members on Facebook, Twitter, anything you could do. You went to one of her houses and left a package there. That's psychopath 101, idiot.
Yeah.
That's why you were treated like a criminal. But Greer is not giving up, and he said he wants to file this case in federal court. Boy, did he. KC, will you put up the next slide for me here? We'll go over how this went down. And if you'll move our camera to the bottom corner somewhere so I can read this real quick. As soon as I get through that first paragraph, you can move it right back. Dumped by Taylor Swift's lawyers, attorneys rather, same thing, he moved on until August of 2017 when spurned by Miss Ariana Grande's agent's lawyer, Greg Skordas. We'll get back into that. You may recognize the name Skordas from that article. Yes, he is both Miss Ariana Grande's agent's lawyer and Taylor Swift's agent's lawyer. So there you go. He is the Utah representative for all things shitty music. He decided he was writing a scathing tell-all. He decided to probably, right? Whatever. He decided to write a scathing tell-all book featuring illustrations by an Indonesian gig artist. To nobody's surprise, the book is shitty. Links to his book are found at the top of the OP, so do not give Russell money. Casey, if you would, please go to the next slide real quick, and then we'll bounce back to this one. But this is an excerpt from his book that is so shitty, and you can drop the camera again. This is bad placement. I'll keep that in mind next time I do these. After weeks of slowly recovering from the aftermath of it all, the aftermath meaning the media fallout and the craziness of the losing the case, with the news refusing my request to cover the truth of what I went through. They blasted false stories of me all over the internet, though, and the trolls dragging my name through the mud. I decided to write this book to explain my side of things. This is the prologue, by the way. This is how he writes his prologue.
Dude,
After the media wouldn't listen to me and
like, first off, like, he's and initially you want to feel bad for making fun of somebody that looks like him, but his brain, I wanted to say it's fine. It's clearly not.
It's unaffected. It's unaffected by his disability.
Yeah, he's so fucking hateable that all of the stuff that he's doing that he now wants to write a book about, like, it's all bullshit. And then his writing's not good.
Right.
His writing's terrible. Like, 3 sentences into it, it's the most boring thing either of us has read the whole night. And I read a trade from 2005 involving Ty Wigginton.
Yes. Worse than that. I would agree with you. I decided to write this book to explain my side of things and to try seeking justice for myself and to reveal events that the news wouldn't cover and that the police refused to pursue because they were not true. Some of those events were, and then I cut myself off on this one, but the many encounters he had with fans who blew him, who fucked with him, and apparently everybody in Utah recognized him as the person who was suing Taylor Swift, and they were a big fan of her, and he was going to get it. Like, that's what this book is full of, those stories. A girl who killed herself. He's saying that those were some of the events that affected his life and were on his side of things, but we'll get to that and exactly how he was involved in that. Just
like to imagine that he's like, people around Utah are reacting poorly now when they see me. Somebody's like, that just started?
Yeah, that just started, or are you inferring different reasoning behind their initial visceral reaction to your face? And also he wanted to show that he's not crazy or frivolous or litigious. He's all three. But to show that I'm a human being who stands on principle to a fault. And the principle is rarely one that we can get behind.
The principle is Merle Esther, actually.
Correct. This book gives an in-depth look into what really happened and also shows how, this is my favorite sentence of all time, maybe, and also shows how Taylor Swift and her agents had a duty to not shaft me. Your Honor, Taylor Swift and her agents and her family had a duty, a legally binding duty to not shaft me, and I've been shafted. Fucking idiot.
I want to see a press conference with some elected official now, where it's like, listen, there is much unrest between our citizens and our police force, but our police force it's a public service to protect everyone, and they have a list of duties to not be doo-doo heads to the public.
Yeah. The police are not here to shaft you. Okay? I am not here to shaft you. Biden and Harris, 2020. Duty not to shaft. All right, so anyway, we get back into Russell's attempts here. Russell resumed e-stalking Taylor in 2018, around the time his brothel lawsuit got shit on by actual lawyers. We'll get to that.
A brothel lawsuit?
A brothel lawsuit. We'll get to that. And filed a $100 million lawsuit against her, meaning Taylor Swift, for not placing disclaimers and causing his feelings to hurt. It went kind of like this. September 2018, he did it. Russell filed another lawsuit against Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's lawyer's assistant got served. The assistants to the lawyers got served. That's as close as he got. Russell wrote a 91-page request for default judgment. Good God. 91 pages for just a default judgment request. I would kill him if I were that lawyer, if I were that judge. I'd kill him.
How many topics that you're passionate about would you have to pick to be able to comfortably fill 91 pages without rambling?
I could probably do 91 pages on Russell Greer at this point, if I were being honest. But Utah, BYU football history, I could write a 91-page thesis about that tonight.
And that's just the last 9 years.
And pussy. I could write 91 pages on pussy real fast, real easy. It's one of my favorite topics. September 14th, 2018, he wrote the 91-page default judgment request, but he served the wrong lawyers. And Taylor's actual lawyers request the judgment be denied. September 21st, just a week later, Russell writes an additional 31 pages arguing that he served them right. Because he called a bunch of lawyers' offices and they didn't return his phone calls. That's airtight argument there, Russell. I called them and they didn't call me back, so they're served. 5 days later, Russell submits his plans to serve Taylor or just get the court to waive service. Taylor Quest 2018, which must be what the autists are calling it, continues. November 2018, Russell has failed to actually serve Taylor with papers. The judge has given him until January 2019 to serve, or this lawsuit is over. December 2018, Russell filed an emergency notice to ask for more time to fail to serve Taylor. He's spending his time wisely by serving more UPS stores.
There's some... I like the opinion in whoever's writing this.
I do too.
Not serve Taylor.
January 2019, the deadline has arrived. Russell still can't figure out how to serve Swift and requested another emergency extension. February 1st, a day after he had time to serve, Russell's lawsuit denied by the judge for repeated failure to serve. To this day, Taylor Swift likely has no idea he was ever trying to sue her.
She's got to now, like somebody close to her has to be like, did you ever hear about this guy?
Has he ever gotten within 10 feet of you? Because I'm concerned about you, girl.
Avoid
all right,
that.
So next we get into the tell-all book. So after that, Russell Greer takes a shot at Taylor Swift's mom. And as we all know, a gentleman never shits on a mother, especially someone else's. Maybe if Taylor Swift's fat-ass, pig-faced mom had passed away from cancer, then maybe Taylor would be empathetic to the disabled. That's a non sequitur. How does that connect?
Nope,
my mom died of cancer. I'm gonna go volunteer at the Special Olympics.
Oh no, my mom had breast cancer and it was a terrible battle for 9 months and now she's gone. So I'm gonna eat soup with that chipmunk-looking guy.
Yeah. Too bad. Last time I get a fatty, a.k.a. her mom, flowers. Instead, she just oinks, oinks, oinks about my kind gesture. So rude of her. Dude, you sued her daughter for you attempted to sue her daughter for $100 million.
And
you stalked them
Taylor
relentlessly.
Swift's mom flowers?
Apparently. Apparently. And there's one like.
Dude.
There's one like. I'll give you 2 guesses who it is.
It's him.
It's him. He likes his own shit and moves on. All right, now we're going to get into what's up.
That was always my favorite thing whenever you used to roast my Facebook page. 1 like.
Yeah, 1 like, no comments, no shares. All right, now we're going to get into Russell Greer's real his real love in life. You'd think it would be Taylor Swift, but really it's just talking shit on Facebook. So if you move to the next one, Russell Greer had seemingly moved on from the whole Taylor Swift thing. He realized this isn't going anywhere. I should just stick with what I know best, and that is going to Nevada brothels to pay women to have sex with me. Right? I mean, that was his...
You're living his life.
Yeah.
You know.
So, KC,
yeah.
One time, Russell Greer decided to go all the way to Nevada to the Bunny Ranch. And you probably, I mean, you're a gentleman, so you probably only know what the Bunny Ranch is academically.
I've read about it.
You read about it. Okay, good. One of the biggest brothels in the world, definitely the biggest in America, only because of legality, I'm sure. If everywhere it was legal, the biggest brothel in the world would probably be in New Mexico.
Walmart.
Yeah, in a Walmart in New Mexico. That's exactly right. It would just be Mexican broads that you're allowed to kill. That would be the biggest. That would be the biggest brothel in the United States. We all know it. I wouldn't go there. I'm just saying it would be the biggest.
Of course.
So Russell goes to Nevada, and he spends an ungodly amount of money on one of the bunnies at the ranch to have the girlfriend experience. Now, it was $4,000 for 2 hours of this girl's time to have the girlfriend experience. So, KC, you're paying $4,000.
She just sits in the other room. Is that what that is?
I don't know. If that's
the girlfriend experience, you just pay for her to go somewhere else.
The girlfriend experience for me is like, every 5 seconds, just having to check my phone for text messages every 5 minutes. Hey, how's it going? It's still going fine. I saw you like 2 minutes ago. So he pays $4,000 for 2 hours of this girl's time. He spends this 2 hours taking her, I think, in a limousine to Olive Garden. And which is whatever, that's fine. Take her to Olive Garden. It's great. Yeah, we're all family. And that's it. He spends the entire 2 hours at Olive Garden with her, like asking her questions, like pretending that they're basically like on a real date and it's his girlfriend or something like that. He takes her back to the Bunny Ranch and is horrified to find out that she's not going to sleep with him because his time has expired. So he throws a fit.
This fucking guy.
He throws a fit, says, "You guys are all bigots because I'm disabled. This is why you're doing this to me. Because of my face." They say, "No, your time is up. We'll happily let you pay more money to have more time." And he's like, "I spent $4,000. Like, that was all my money. That probably doesn't even cost $4,000 for 2 hours. That's probably a Russell Greer cost." They have like the cost, they have the sales cost sheets, and then they have the special sheets for the handicap that bust themselves in from all corners of the country. And so Russell Greer gets himself banned from the Bunny Ranch, which apparently is very hard to do. I would think they'd have a list a mile long of people banned from there, but apparently not. And Russell is on that list. So Russell turned his attention towards Utah strip clubs. In this message right here, we see on Facebook that he's announced to the world that this redacted girl in pink, and Russell is in blue. The girl's name, that's the stripper, we'll call her redacted stripper chick. She's in pink. The establishment is in black. What do you think the establishment is called? The strip club in Utah.
Let's see. I don't know. Call her pink though. That makes the most sense.
The covered wagon.
The covered
The covered wagon. That's the
70.
That's the Utah strip club.
75% of the way up the trail. That's
Engines in the bush. That's what it's called. Engines in the bush. Strip club. Russell Greer says, redacted stripper chick is one of the most gorgeous girls ever. One of these weekends, I'm going to come in and say hi. Maybe I'll bring flowers with me too. 3 flower emojis.
He got
some traction. Yeah, he got some traction on that. He got however many likes, loves, and shock faces, totaling 7. I'm going to guess it's 5 shock faces, 1 like, and 1 love, both from Russell.
No, I was going to say 7 total interactions, 5 shock faces, the heart from the stripper to try to get the business, and he liked it.
Okay, that's even better. I think you're right. I think you're right about that. Or maybe every post he makes, people just do the shock face in solidarity.
Or with him. Or he liked it and hearted it, and then 4 people did a shock face and he felt left out, so he also did a shock face.
So he did a shock face in solidarity with them. All right, so then redacted stripper chick writes, I would love that kissy face. 1 like. We obviously know whose that was. Russell Greer follows up immediately by saying, when you see the young studly guy in the suit come in, you'll know it's me.
When you see the young studly guy in the suit come in, stop when you get to the neck.
Yeah. Hey, what time Sunday do you work? I'm going to come in and say hi and have a surprise with me, which you may know what it is, ... besides my awesome self, wink face. Is he talking about his dick?
He's here. Yeah. He's laying the dick out there. Yeah.
I feel like that. I mean, that's what I would be talking about if I were writing a stripper on Facebook to the world for the world to see. Who writes this?
Nobody, dude. That's the point. No one does
this.
Only fucking retarded people do this. It's it. It's that simple. There's no other explanation.
So bad, dude. And then he replies to his own comment again in a new thread. I forgot that there are 2 Southerns. Which one are you at? So he doesn't even know which strip club this girl is at. I don't know how he met her. He said that in a future. We'll get to that. Go ahead and go to the next one. It'll all explain itself. If he writes to her again in a new fucking message, a new post on her wall.
Yeah, these are just status updates, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like it. He's just writing status updates and tagging people left and right without regard for human life. Redacted stripper chick, if only you knew I was the guy who filed a constitutional challenge to legalize brothels in Utah, you wouldn't be ignoring me. That comes off as a threat to me. Without any other context, that sentence, if only you knew I was the guy who filed a constitutional challenge to legalize brothels in Utah, you wouldn't be ignoring me.
I don't think so. I think that is him being like, you probably don't even have a job if I don't exist.
Because brothels and strip clubs, totally the same thing. And he goes, I'll see you tomorrow, guessing at the South Salt Lake location. I hope he was wrong and had to go pay the cover, go in and find out she's not there, and then have to go back to the North Salt Lake location, which we all know is the perpetual Tuesday afternoon lineup.
Is there anyone in this room that hasn't had a C-section? Yes.
Yuck. She writes back, brothel sounds like a different ballpark, friend. And then the smiley face finger gun to the head.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Protect your livelihood here.
Russell, and then that gets 3 likes, not from whoever screenshotted this, but 3 likes to shooting him down immediately. Like, this isn't a brothel, buddy. Get out of here. He writes back, no, LOL. That's not what I mean. I just say that so you know that I totally understand the adult entertainment biz. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't understand much of anything, Russell. I'm not a random guy who is trying to disrespect you. They all interlink anyways.
I'm just a random guy.
Yeah, we all know strippers eventually turn tricks. We all know that. It's all intertwined. It's all interleaked.
Next one?
Next one. Then he writes to all the world to see, tomorrow I'm going to my first strip club in Utah, the covered wagon, and going to give flowers.
The lonely horse.
The lonely horse. And going to give flowers to the beautiful redacted stripper chick. The last time I went to a strip club was when I was a Mormon missionary in Arizona, when my comps and I, who are his companions, and I went to Dream Palace. And then he gets real petty with it, which I appreciated. That's why I put this here. And this is why I banned Elder Edwards from my Facebook, because he got in my face and said that those elders would never go to a strip club. Yeah, they did, dude. Plus, there were rumors about it on the mission.
This is just stream of consciousness that doesn't matter.
Oh, and at least he didn't tag whoever this Elder Edwards was, because obviously he was banned from his Facebook, so he couldn't. So saved him one there. Then some random green redacted friend says, you should arrange $100 bills in this bouquet. I like to think that that's trolling, like he knows he can't.
Yeah, right. It has to be.
And then Russell says, I'll try something like that.
Dude, there's no...
Looking like a dick. In every one of the redactions, whoever redacted, they made it all look like dicks, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, they're all penises. And, I mean, we all know people like this that just have no idea what is going on around them, and they're nose blind to what a cunt they are at all times.
I can be that way.
Yeah, but not because you're retarded. Just because you're a dickhead.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you that this green redacted person and other people liking these things are just a part. So we all know somebody like this. 80% of his friend list is people he added that were like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I guess I don't really want to give to charity, so I'll just accept this guy's friend request.
He'll probably sue me if I don't accept this.
Exactly.
And while it will be in the wrong state the first few times, eventually I'll probably have to go downtown once.
Eventually I might have to pay a court fee, and I really don't want to do that just to get my shit dismissed. All right, next. Russell Greer, feeling confused. Hey, redacted stripper chick, be honest. Do you hate me or something? I'm seriously trying to stand out and treat you like a lady and ask you about prices and stuff.
So she's touring around. She's touring around, and he wants her to give him the info on the club.
And you're ignoring me, but talking to sleaze dudes. It's sleazy. Idiot. I've never been to a club in Utah, and I just want to know everything before I go. Google it. You could probably... Don't ask the stripper who is trying to actively trick you out of all your money for a fucking price list before you go in. Like, yes, I would like one of the lap dances, please, and also a compliment. I see that you have a compliment for $2. I'd like one of those when I enter. I see that you require a drink be purchased for you before anything go further. So obviously we'll tie that into the details of the contract. We'll write that in. And no longer than 5 minutes of continuous eye contact. I see that as well. I agree. I agree to those terms, ma'am. And I will see you at 6:05 sharp. Fucking psycho. Want to know everything before I go. I'm just simply trying to get all the info. Don't understand the not returning messages. Now, if you looked like Russell Greer, you'd probably have to say you're used to not being answered.
No, I can't say that. I can't say that. And I can tell you with 100% confidence. I've been a fat, ugly person my whole life. And the amount of times that I put myself out there to anyone to allow myself to be rejected in any way, I simply don't do it. I don't have this ability to throw myself out there like an asshole and then receive nothing in return. And not only does he have that ability, he has the ability to send DMs, not get them replied to, and then publicly point it out to everybody around him.
Yeah. It's unreal, the lack of self-awareness that this guy has. And he highlights that with the last sentence here. How am I supposed to patronize and woo you if I don't know any details?
Wooer! Yeah, that's my favorite line yet, the wooing.
How am I supposed to woo you if I don't even know how much your vagina costs?
I like that he's asking her about prices to a place that she's visiting. Like, at Bill Burr, I keep asking what the prices are for parking at your show in Connecticut in 3 weeks. Do you not want me as a fan? I'm just trying to stand out.
I'm just trying to patronize and woo you, Bill Burr. You can forget those flowers, asshole.
Oh, man.
Next slide.
Flowers to your mom now. Like,
yeah, that fat pig. I hope she died of cancer so you would understand how the disability affects my life.
Shit.
So this guy, this redacted yellow friend, writes back to him on this crazy message that he threw out to the world. I don't think she wants to be wooed, man. She just wants you to spend your money there.
That's one of those people that just got added, dude. That's one of those people that got added, and he's like, this one, I feel like I can't let this one go. I feel like I'd have to jump in this time. Like,
yeah, I've seen enough of these crazy things that just somebody seems like it's going to get hurt. If I don't say anything, someone is going to get hurt. So then Russell writes back to this, I think she just wants you to spend your money there. He goes, ... I know this, ? That's not how you write that sentence. It requires a period.
Yeah, if you have the ellipses leading, you can't have a question mark following.
Well, I mean, you can, but not if you want to tell the guy you know. Like, I know this. ...
I know this. Or it's just regular, I know this?
In fact, this reply infinitely improves if you just take the question mark and the ellipses and just swap them. Just put the question mark up front and say, I know this, ... Then it makes him look like the idiot and not you, but you look like the idiot. Then he follows up by saying, Russell Greer, I was just being colorful when I said that, but yeah, she's cute and I want to show her attention, but I'm not oblivious. Yellow friend says, then just show up, ? Again, not the right way to use a question mark. Russell Greer says, yeah, but I'm trying to ask her costs, etc. And I have messaged the Facebook page of the place and no answer. Jesus. So now it's spreading. It's spreading. His psychosis is spreading from the target who is not giving him the attention he wants. And now he's got to pull their friends and their establishments into this psychosis. Go ahead to the next one. But hey, I was only being nice. If she wants creeps staring at her and not trying to be gentlemen,
hey,
then that's on her. I simply wanted to come in, give her flowers, buy her a drink, jerk off on her face, and maybe he didn't say that, and maybe a private show. But when I have no idea how much anything costs, too much. That's how much anything costs in a strip club is too much. Okay? Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, it's too much. Just know that, and then you're fine. It's kind of a hassle to go there when I don't know what to expect. If she's an independent contractor, then she should be diligent in answering. See, this is where he falls back into the liberal Facebook argument where you get caught. You get caught saying something stupid and someone just writes some logical question to shut your argument down. And then he turns it into this, well, if she's an independent contractor, then she should abide by law 50246.
Yeah,
shut the hell up. You just Googled that, you idiot.
Legally
you didn't know that before you wrote this.
I want to be able to harass her and know she has to read it and reply every time. That's what I would like.
And also that I'm only on the hook for $5.
That's right.
For when I go to the strip club.
It's also true.
Because I was such a gentleman and bought her flowers. Obviously, the cost of the flowers should be rolled into the cost of the lap dance. I should be paying less. So instead of responding, let's see, if she's an independent contractor, then she should be diligent in answering these kinds of questions instead of responding to the usual, quote, damn, you're hella sexy, or whatever the guys say. He's a fucking idiot. But I hope to hear from you soon, so I know, redacted stripper chick. So he
tagged her at the end. Again. Oh, no.
He tagged her in it again. Next.
Oh, Jesus God.
And here we go. Russell Greer, feeling excited, says, "Aight," 2 exclamation marks, which I never understand. It's 1 or 3, never 2. "I'm in my white shirt and purple tie, heading to pick up the flowers and heading over to the Lonely Horse to woo the beautiful and stunning redacted stripper chick." Now, Casey, there's a picture of Russell Greer below. You wouldn't know that.
No.
Because of the way he's taking the picture with the flash dead center in the middle of his face into a mirror.
Opie and Anthony once described a radio DJ. It was a woman on the radio with them back in the 90s or early 2000s, and she had a super sexy radio voice, but she was a fat mess. And the publicity picture on the station's website, they literally had her peeking out from behind a tree.
This is the equivalent. This is the equivalent for Russell Greer.
If you look like Russell Greer, you put on a suit and tie and you flash the fuck out of the phone right in your face. So the face is completely invisible for the audio people.
But the hair's still there because that's important. You want the girl to know you have hair.
That's true.
That you have a shirt, pants, and tie, and that you can stand with your legs that far apart.
Look how short he is.
Yeah, dude. The door behind him. The door's got to be like 4 to 5 feet behind him based on, where everything's going on in this picture. And his head is barely breaking above those top 2 small little squares that you'll have on a cheap door. If he were to walk backwards towards the door,
in here, it's actually cheaper. It's got no squares.
No squares. Just planks.
Just a plank.
If he were to walk backwards, he would be underneath those 2 squares,
easy.
which makes me think he's probably pushing 5'8". I would say 5'8". Definitely a manlet. Confirmed manlet. Next slide. All right, he's back from the club. He had a great time, and he decides to get to get to Facebook again. And Russell Greer writes, "Redacted stripper chick, you were very beautiful up on the pole. I was happy to tip you." What a fucking couple sentences that was. "I was also happy to buy you those 2 drinks too, and the table we sat at." What a fucking sucker. Dude, I didn't know you even had to pay for tables at a strip club. I thought if you were
I've never had
cool enough and if the stripper led you to the table that it was just like, yeah, whatever, you just sit at the table. He got bilked for every dollar he had in his pockets.
Don't they always they just come around to the table, right? You and your friends sit at a table, and then they're like, they always want to come over and sit on your lap for a while, get a drink or 2, and then take you to the other room. That's the play.
Right. And then pretend like I would let you walk me out to my car, but the company says that I can't do that, and you have to talk her into letting you do it anyway after a couple more dances. Yeah, dude, we all know.
That's the thing. Like, I've never been like shit-faced. I've been shit-faced at one strip club, but it was for like 8 minutes as a part of a bachelor party night. Mm-hmm. The night another gentleman in my life shit all over a hotel room.
Yeah, not mine.
And I'm just going through this again. You were very beautiful up on the pole. I was happy to tip you. I was happy to buy you those 2 drinks at the table we sat at. What he is describing here is a failed night out to a strip club.
Yes.
And he is the exact opposite. He's got to be public with it.
Yep. This should be a DM that says, "Hey, redacted stripper chick, thanks for getting me that free blowy in the back. Just remembered that I forgot to give you my number, so here it is. Hit me up. Talk to you later. That's it. That's as successful as you can get at a strip club if that is the message you're sending. Not this one, which he followed up with, I hope you liked the flowers. Or excuse me, I hope you liked my flowers and the card I gave you. Oh my God, dude.
It's so embarrassing. I'm just embarrassed. I don't know how to react to that. I'm just embarrassed.
Do you think he made her like read the card while he was there? Like, I got you. Did you see the card? Did you see the card?
Dude,
I spent seriously 50 minutes going through all the cards, and this one I just think is so perfect for you based on all the hours and hours of Facebook stalking I've done of you because I didn't even know which fucking strip club you worked at. I know nothing about you, but here's a card I got for you.
Imagine seeing a guy in a strip club with a card and flowers for one of the girls.
I'm imagining it right now, and he's got a slack mouth.
It's incredible.
And then he goes, Christ. and then he reaches in and grabs and extracts the remaining spaghetti from his pockets and throws it everywhere by saying, "Stay in touch, pretty girl, and don't let no drunks disrespect you." 5 kissy face emojis, 3 tulips for some fucking reason emojis, and 2 heart eye smiley face emojis. And then he follows it up with tagging the lonely horse again and redacted stripper chick. So she is twice tagged in this.
Twice tagged in the same post.
This train wreck of a post.
By the way, I can only see like a tiny bit of the corner here. Mm-hmm. It looks like the word danger is part of his profile picture on Facebook.
Yeah, it looks like that. That's correct. Now, KC, it sounds like everything is going real well. Russell's feeling real good. He's on an emotional high. His boner's probably not down yet. Oh, no. Then we have this from Russell. Wow. Oh, and hey, we got the back end of what that danger thing was. It's Dangerous Woman Tour.
No.
Oh, Dangerous 2 Women Tour, maybe. But so Russell Greer writes, wow. And then he explains in his tweet here that I will zoom in to read here. Well, this was my first and last time going to a strip club. Gave the stripper flowers, a tip, bought her drinks, and was kind to her, and she blocked me. WTF? And then he's got this weird ass fucking where he's biting his lip. This selfie where he's biting his lip. I can't tell at all what is in the background.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. I'm trying to zoom. It won't let me, but...
Oh, don't worry. It's fine. So then Russell says... Russell posts a picture of him like biting his lip in this weird outfit that he's got on with his tie loosened. I'm sure he thinks he was looking like super cool in this picture. And then a friend of his gets down in the comments and says, maybe you should ditch the suit and tie. It's probably bad luck. To which Russell immediately shuts him down and says, no, that would ruin the whole point of what I was trying to do, to show that chivalry exists in that type of biz, that not all patrons are weirdos. Fail. You did not show that. You are biggest weirdo.
He did the worst job of taking weirdo out of a stereotype.
Case in point, she blocked you, you idiot.
Yeah.
She thinks you are the biggest weirdo of all time. All right, next slide.
She met 100 different dudes that weekend, 99 of whom she never interacted with on Facebook, and one of which she blocked.
Yep. Correct. Then Russell gets a little angry. He adds 2 photos of redacted stripper chick whose photo is redacted with a crude Microsoft Paint drawing of thick paintbrush strokes. By the way, both of those crude pink obstructions to the picture are also too hot for Russell Greer. Both those pink blobs. Especially
That's
the one
all
on
I've
the
ever
right.
seen. I have
Look
to
at the
take
one
my
on the right.
glasses
She's
off.
hot.
Right? My glasses aren't comfortable. I have to take them off like when I go to a bedroom. So all I've ever seen is a pink blob anyway. So
So Russell says, this girl is extremely shallow. He tags the lonely horse again. What a prick. Okay. Sometimes it's funny.
This is like a person without legs describing one marathon as more difficult than the other. Dude, you're not involved in this.
Yeah.
You don't get to decide what shallow is. You're as far away as possible. Shallow's way before you.
Right. Someone who just happens to be 5'9", who's good looking, will get the boot by a girl who is as hot as this silhouette appears to be.
That's right.
So come on, buddy, get with it. What a prick! Like, what the hell? I feel stabbed in the back. Again, not appropriate to talk about somebody who you never met before, who you just stalked on Facebook, blocking you, as stabbing in the back. Like, if you so like came out and like, my wife cheated on me with you or something like that, like, I would feel stabbed in the back. Like, that would be an appropriate use of that turn of phrase. A stripper who blocks you because she could not be professional enough a stripper to put up with the likes of you. So, I mean, it is a little bit on her too. She has to understand that this is the type of demographic that is going to do this.
And she just blocks it. Yeah,
she blocks it. Yeah. And I bought her stuff and she blocked me literally a minute later. Whatever. It was a lame experience anyways. Didn't sound like it from the prior post that you just made, but and he says, but whatever.
Emojis going on here. Right. He had a good time.
He had a great time. But whatever. I hope she enjoys the old drunk weirdos lusting after her. She does. While all I was doing was showing her that chivalry exists in the entertainment biz.
Stop writing biz. Ugh.
Yeah. And it doesn't. Stop. Chivalry doesn't exist like at the store down the street. It sure as fuck doesn't exist in the adult entertainment business.
And also,
because it is not adult entertainment, it is man entertainment business. It is entertaining men.
Strippers all sitting in the back room going, I just wish we were in Kansas like last weekend. It's just so much more chivalrous there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fucking strip clubs, man.
Oh shit, is that the guy with the drenched shirt? I really don't want to give him a lap dance today. All right, next slide. Next slide. Here we go. Then he moves on because she's obviously blocked him. He moves on to her friends. He writes, redacted green friend, please tell your friend, redacted stripper chick, that I am extremely hurt by what she did to me. Not cool. No likes, no comments. He then writes to everybody, presumably, I forgot how lame strip clubs are. This is the first strip club you've ever been to in Utah, and you've lived in like 2 places. You went to one in Arizona, which was probably not even your idea. You were probably just the companion who was the fucking tag-along who wouldn't narc on them. Oops, you ended up narking on them. Sorry, Elder Edwards. But he forgot already how lame strip clubs are. This is why I always went to brothels, because you can touch the girls. Okay, there's 2 things wrong with that.
Yeah.
You can touch the girls at a strip club if you don't look like Russell Greer.
That's correct.
He's got
even
so
if you look
much
like me, you can do that. And I can tell you that from experience. It's allowed. It's fine.
Honk, honk, honk. They don't care as long as you are.
I was reprimanded once.
Really? Were you?
Yeah, my hands were taken and placed. Like, let's go.
Oh, you were reprimanded for not touching. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I thought you meant you were touching and someone came by, like a guard or something like that, a security guard, and like knocked your hand out or something like that. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. He's like, go from behind the dumpster. Yeah.
Those aren't your pants. All right, next slide. Now we get to the hypocrisy, the real hypocrisy that is Russell Greer. And then we're going to end, Casey, with a little bit of reading.
Wait, read this out loud for everybody so I can ask you a question right away, because I just read it.
At the top, Why I Sued Taylor Swift by Russell Greer. This is his book dedication at the beginning of Why I Sued Taylor Swift. He writes, in loving memory of Bailey Barnard, a beautiful and talented girl who took her own life due to events surrounding this entire incident. She was 21.
Okay, a 21-year-old girl died. That is sad. How on earth does that fall? What does that possibly have to do with Taylor Swift not listening to Russell Greer's music?
I have no fucking idea how he came to the conclusion that she committed suicide due to the events surrounding this situation. But I do know that he has a history with this girl. Let's go to the next slide real quick. This is the equivalent of an Instagram post with this girl. And she writes, you know you're broke when Forever 21 is too expensive. And she cuts off her own head, but she looks like she's very anorexic. Looks like she cares a lot about her external appearance. Her clothes are nice. She has no boobs to speak of at all and really can't even... I mean, if she is pushing them together with what she's got going on, it's not going to work. She's a very Kate Mossy body type person. And people write back and forth like, oh, so fashionable. Where are you shopping? Blah, 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 blah. Relatable as fuck. Can I be you? But then Russell Greer jumps in real quick. Piano Stud, 1991-25. Good name.
Piano Stud. That was you earlier in your story.
That's right. Piano Stud. But I'm 1994, 36. So, is that your imaginary boyfriend in the background? Oh, because it's a mirror. It's a mirror with nothing in it. Then nobody writes back to that. So he writes back, the one where you screamed at me to stop messaging you because he existed. You're a ditz, is what he writes. So he is actively bullying and harassing this girl because she said she probably was being nice and saying, oh, wait, no. She screamed at him. Stop messaging me. I have a boyfriend. And he's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep stalking her. And when I get to this picture of nobody in this mirror, I'm going to say, oh, is that your boyfriend? Gotcha, bitch. All right, next slide. This is Russell Greer getting back on Facebook saying, added to the front page of my Taylor Swift book in memory of her, cry face, rip, Bailey Diane Barnard. I know I kind of doxed the dead, but she doesn't care. P.S. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm honoring a bullying victim. Yeah, that you bullied.
I'm honoring my bullying victim. What the fuck are you
talking about? What are you talking about? And the worst part about it is that he puts this in, and somebody comments at the bottom, this Michael guy, ask her family's permission first, or you could be sued. And he writes, no, because her image isn't copyrighted. and I'm protected under fair use. Oh my God, this guy is, like you said, the most hateable retard on Earth.
He is less likable than your own grandparents' funeral.
Yes.
I'd rather run dick first into a samurai sword than hang out with him.
Run dick first into a samurai sword. That's a good one. I've never heard that one before. Yeah, so this is the glory of Russell Greer. A gentleman then, a gentleman now, a gentleman always. Casey, I hope you all agree with me. We will put Russell Greer and Jeff Wilpon, not Wilpon, Wilpon, as our gentleman of the week to be agreed or disagreed upon by you all at twogoddamngentlemen.com. Like we said at the beginning, please go to patreon.com/twogoddamngentlemen. Give $2 a month, $2 a month. You'll get the gentlemanly tip of the cap. You'll also get the video version of this podcast the day after the audio is released. So every Monday, we'll release the video to those tier levels. If you join for $5 a month, you are a gentleman, and you will get the bonus episodes, and you'll also get access to the video version of the podcast same day as the audio. So depending on what you prefer, you'll get both. And obviously, you'll also get the gentlemanly tip of the cap in the end of the episode graphic, as well as I think we'll do like a quarterly or biannual shout out of all the people that are on that list of patrons and stuff like that. That's something easy we can do. If you join for the $10 level, you are officially a goddamn gentleman. And not only do you get the tip of the cap, you get the bonus episodes access, and you get live access to the show being recorded right now, as are the people who are in the chat currently who got in early. Go to patreon.com/2goddamngentlemen. Join us there. And to vote on everything and to see all the crazy stuff we're up to, follow us on Twitter at 2gentlemenpod or 2goddamngentlemen.com. Thanks for being with us tonight. KC, I want to close out this meeting, sir, because I've got a baby screaming somewhere. I can feel it. I can feel it.
I feel like we've accomplished it all, but we are still on the search for the ultimate gentleman, and it continues next week.
2goddamngentlemen says, if you could nominate anyone Gentleman of the Week, who would it be? And why would it be Russell Greer? Who's second? Oh, my God. If Russell Greer is Gentleman of the Week, then the second would be Ted Kennedy. I know he's dead, but great man, full of gentlemanly behaviors.
Meeting adjourned.